What's up, Fever Nation? I want to show you some clips from Mick Talk Hoops. He did a expose, if you will, on a coach and assistant coach grabbing Caitlin Clark, or at least trying to get her attention during the Connecticut game, where Caitlin Clark is getting the crowd hyped because the Fever are up by 20. It's like 3:24 left in the game, and she's probably about to come out for the rest of the game. And she's hyping up the crowd. And I want y'all to pay attention to the coaching staff. I may have to jump in on several clips to make my point, but I want you all to pay attention to the coaching staff, their reactions, and their body language. Let's roll the clip. Okay, in this clip, Sheldon says something to Clark. Clark turns around, and then everything gets started. Clark is going to walk over and say something to Sheldon, but the referee puts her hand on Clark and directs her to the bench. Clark starts going toward the bench, and then she just gets triggered, and then she said, "I'm finna go hype up the crowd." And that's what you see. And now, as she's going to hype up the crowd, one of the assistant coaches puts her hand on her to try to get her to stop being hyping up the crowd. Now, as she's hyping up the crowd, I want you to pay attention to another referee who points to the assistant coach, who would eventually beeline towards her and put both of her hands on Caitlin Clark to get her attention. But watch the referee, who any other time, she act like she doesn't know how to do her job. But during a TV timeout or a timeout, whichever it was, she's motioning to the assistant coach to get your player back to the bench. And then you see her beeline towards Caitlin Clark and put her hands on her to get her to understand, I guess, if you don't stop this, they're going to call a technical foul. They're up by 20. That's not going to affect it. If that technical foul affects the game, the Fever have a total collapse. Why is this important? Because I want you to pay attention to the level and amount of focus and attention that is on Caitlin Clark. When she's getting beat down, beat up, gouged in the eye, where are the referees then? Where are the referees coming to her aid at that moment? But during a timeout, everybody wants to pretend they know how to do their job. Any other time during play, the agenda is in effect, and they're pretending as if they don't see all of this illegal contact. But during this timeout, this is how they conduct themselves during a timeout. They're telling the assistant coaches, "Hey, get your player back to your bench." Maybe I've missed it on numerous occasions. Maybe I haven't. But I've never seen where referees are concerned about a player's activity during a TV timeout or a timeout. Never seen that before. Something else I wanted to point out during this video. This assistant coach that walked over to Caitlin Clark and put her hands on Caitlin Clark to get her attention is the wife of another assistant coach on the team. Why is this an issue? Because what if a player has a reaction toward either of them? Do you think they're going to be comfortable with the attitude that's being displayed towards their spouse? And this is why you have to be careful when you're bringing people like this into the organization. This is not the best move for an organization, because no player can have an attitude with either of them, because it's going to impact the other spouse. This is crazy. This is really crazy. In my opinion, this is crazy. Just like the league, the W doesn't have fraternizing rules. They allow players on the same team to date each other. This is crazy. What happens if that relationship blows up? What do you think is going to happen to the locker room? The WNBA is in such shambles, and they should try to sit here and focus on Caitlin Clark as if she's the problem. The people that are running this organization are the problem. They're just trying to point the fingers because of a gross lack of accountability. They're trying to point the fingers in every other direction except at themselves.
It has taken the WNBA almost 28 years to get to the point where we are now. And this year, something clicked with the WNBA. And it's because of the draft of the players that came in. It's just not Caitlin Clark. And it's because of the draft of the players that came in. It's just not Caitlin Clark.